All right, everybody, come on in. Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Talk podcast with Maggie and Lucy. I am Maggie, the substitute teacher. You may know me from my cooking channel. I cook with substitute ingredients. But together with Lucy, we are the proud founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, where we teach real women in the real world how to be the best versions of themselves, leading with femininity, elegance, and etiquette. And what we like to do a couple times a week is to come here in the virtual world with you all for the women, especially the younger women who still want to prioritize traditional relationships in their prime. We like to give our take on relationship topics or anything personal development. So Lucy, please introduce yourself and let us know, what are we reacting to today?
Hi, Maggie. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Just another mark. He says the pearls would have looked real good against that black glue. They would have. I just couldn't find them. So my husband is getting me a new set of pearls. So they're coming. So we'll see. I'm sure they will look really nice next time. So I'm Lucy. I have a channel, very small channel. Usually the content is about femininity, elegance, and things that impact women over a certain age. And speaking of women a certain age, the topic of today about integrity and honesty, I thought it would be a good idea to share, because it seems to me that we're losing understanding of what it means to have integrity and honesty. And when you're getting into a traditional relationship, into the traditional world, that has a lot of impact on how your life is at the moment that you're with. If you're thinking that your life is chaos, it's important to take a look at that integrity, that honesty, and a lot of other things that are part of that, of why your life is chaotic, when you're complaining about how things are not working out for you. So that's the reason I shared it with you, Maggie.
Absolutely. So come on in, everyone. We're going to play the video and we will give you our reaction to it. So today is a little bit of a heavy topic, but it's very important. Ladies, this is not a game, especially for the caliber of men that you want. I have had several conversations over the last few days with the type of men that we respect. And when they see these type of behaviors that we're going to talk about today, you are instantly and permanently put in an untrustworthy category. Oh my goodness. Next level coming in. Thank you so much. $10. He says, let's talk about it. Dogs, sandwiches, and all things that encompass the holy house of femininity. Salute, ladies, and salute to the chat. Driving home from work after a 60-hour week. Oh my goodness, please get rest. Thank you. And we appreciate the men in the community that support us and work incredibly hard. But as two older women with a combined 40 years of marriage experience, Lucy and I know what it takes to maintain a relationship. So ladies, if you find yourself getting access to certain circles and then getting excluded from those circles, if you feel like the little games that you play and the tricks that you do that you think are just kind of innocent aren't going to catch up with you, they will catch up with you, especially with the men that do not have time for the foolishness. So if you're an older woman and this is just kind of how you live your life, that's one thing. But I really want to help the younger women who may be led astray, thinking that the way to win is by manipulating. You will not win. You will lose, and you will lose very badly. All right. So this video is honesty and integrity always win. And this is from the Self-Publishing School. So this isn't a relationship based video, but still the lessons and the teachable moments are very important, because ladies, you have to be authentic. One of the biggest things that I hear from men is that our consistency is key. And they have to be able to depend on us for the things that we bring to the relationship, just like we want to depend on them. So here are your two disclaimers, and then we'll get started. Lucy and I come from traditional backgrounds, both immigrant families, traditional nuclear family. That is what we prioritize. We married young, and that is what we promote. So if you want to do something other than that, that's fine. You just probably won't be happy over here. And then again, if you want to watch the video without our commentary, the link is in the description. It's only a 5-minute video, so we will play it and then pause it. And as always, we love to bring you all into the conversation. So if you've had any experiences with these topics and you want to share, we can talk about it. All right, so let me share my screen and mute myself.
It's buffering. It's taking a while.
Integrity always wins. Honesty and integrity always win. This means for our customers. This means for employees. So for team members, this means for anyone we come in contact. And yes, even when it hurts. Now, my dad always told me growing up, and this is one of my favorite quotes, it takes a lifetime to earn a reputation and a second to ruin it. So all the things we do over the course of our life helps build the reputation that we have. So this is the reputation we have with our customers. This is the reputation we have with other team members, with other self-publishing school employees. This is the reputation that we have with our parents, with our friends, with the people in our communities. It takes a lifetime to build those reputations and a second to ruin them.
Thank you all so much. All right, I want to go ahead and respond to that because he's very passionate about what he's saying and he is speaking very quickly. So 2 things that he said stood out to me, ladies. He was talking about, I believe this man is speaking to his students in this self-publishing school. So they go to him because they want to be an author and they're learning how to write a book and publish it. And he's talking about honesty and integrity in that space. However, ladies, those of you all that are interested in relationships, especially relationships with the kind of men that we want, that are consistent, that are reliable, this also applies. So did you hear him when he said it applies to your customers? It applies to, he was listing out the different stakeholders. Here's the point, ladies. I have seen this with women where in certain circles or around certain men, then they put on the good girl costume, if you will, and they fall in line and they act accordingly. But when you get them out of that space, when they think nobody's watching, when they're dealing with, a service member out in the community, maybe they're, known to move in different circles, they think that they can just kind of like play that game and code switch. It's not going to work, ladies. You have to make a decision. And this is what Lucy and I tell the ladies in the finishing school. You are building a brand. All of us have a brand. You are known for something, whatever that reputation is. And once you get the reputation of being a liar or get the reputation of being untrustworthy, you're not going to be able to tap dance your way out of it. And this is what I've seen with multiple women. They do something that on its face is just flat out wrong. And you should say, I knew it. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Full stop. But what I experience with women is that not all the women that I've talked to that I have had this experience with, they want to try and explain it away. And I was talking to one of our biggest sponsors today, and he said, do you know what a man like me thinks when I find a woman doing something that is wrong, and instead of just saying, you know what, you were right, I was wrong, she starts to do all of this tap dancing. That is it. You are excommunicated because basically you're calling a man stupid to his face. And ladies, you may not see it that way. You may not, well, that's not what I mean. That's not my intention. Well, I didn't know. There's no excuses. You are adults and you should know right from wrong. And I'll be very honest, a little passionate about this one. It frustrates me that we have to teach things that are basic home training. But if you do not know that, coloring outside of the lines and being a little bit, deceptive is not okay, I'm here to tell you it's not okay. And like he said, you get one time. My man will tell you, women that I used to talk to, he's like, yeah, she's a liar now, out. And there is no redeeming yourself. So we're trying to catch you all before it gets to that point. All right, Lucy, what would you add?
And it's also important to remember that these men, the quality of men that most of us are used to dealing with, they have been there, they have seen a lot, they're just gathering information, and they know the second that they know that that person is manipulating them or is playing a game. And most of those men, they'll just put them in a, like Maggie said, you have the fun person, and then you have the serious woman. So again, the men know it's in their DNA, it's in their biology. They know how to spot um, fakeness right away. They will let you play with it, but there's a point where they're going to say, no, this is where, where I stop, and then they move on.
Absolutely. So if we have any men in the chat that care to share some of the games that a woman thought she could play on you, if it's helpful, we are not here to put anybody down, but if we can learn from it, that is my heart. And that's what I want to do. Ladies, here's a few things that I've noticed, just in the time that I've been in this social media space. Our supporters, ask them, when you talk to them, they will tell you, we watched you and Lucy for a while. We studied you for a while. Men that have built themselves are not impulsive. That is a feminine trait. They stay back, they watch, and like Lucy said, they gather data points. And here's the terrifying thing, ladies. Once a man has counted you out, he will still entertain you. He will still spend money on you. He will still be intimate with you. And all the while you thought, whew, okay, close call. Nobody caught me. We're good. He called me to come over, or he's taking me out. And the whole time he knows this isn't going anywhere. Ladies, they have a budget for the fun girl. Their words, the men will tell you they have a budget for the fun girl. So if you think you're moving towards wifehood and you're acting in a way that is not representative of a wife, and they move you into the fun girl category, you may never know it. All right, let's go back in. Just another Mark is listening and laughing. Yes, you all know the dogs are part of the show, so come on in. Let's continue.
Hey, Chandler Bolt here, and I want to talk to you about a core value we have here at Self-Publishing School, and that's honesty and integrity always win. Now, honesty and integrity always win. This means for our customers, this means for employees, so for team members, this means for anyone we come in contact, and yes, even when it hurts. Now, my dad always told me growing up, and this is one of my favorite quotes,
I'm sorry, y'all. That's on me. I shouldn't have touched it.
it takes a lifetime to earn a reputation and a second to ruin it. So all the things we do over the course of our life helps build the reputation that we have. So this is the reputation we have with our customers. This is the reputation we have with other team members, with other self-publishing school employees. This is the reputation that we have with our parents, with our friends, with the people in our communities. And it takes a lifetime to build those reputations and a second to ruin them. That means this is one of the most important core values that we have. And in every interaction, honesty and integrity always win. Now, this starts with the commitments that you make. So this is the commitments that you make to our customers. This is the commitment that you make to each other. So around deadlines for other employees on the team. If you commit to getting something done by a certain date, you need to have honesty and integrity with that commitment. So we need to know that you're reliable. Now, also when it comes to commitments on times that you're showing up for meetings. Now, this is important both internally and externally. Now, if you've been on the team for a little while, you know that I'm very, very strict on meeting times. And we are as a team, as a whole. This is how we hold each other accountable. So we start every meeting exactly on time, and we usually show up a minute early. So I expect that for you in this company, and I expect that in everything that we have with our customers. So you need to show up on time for your sales calls, for your welcome calls. You need to show up on time for your meetings, for your coaching calls. Now, I learned this early on from a mentor when I was working for student painters, and he said, Chandler, every time you show up 5 minutes late, you're breaking a commitment with your customer or with your prospect. You're 18 years old. You're already trying to convince them to let you paint their house. They're looking for ways to not trust you because of your age. So when you show up late, they're thinking, oh, maybe this kid's not trustworthy. I don't know about this. It's wasting my time. All those things. So you're losing points, and you're potentially even losing the sale or losing the customer before you even get there. And that's really always stuck with me, because by showing up on time, we prove to each other and we prove to our customers that, hey, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And this is in the little things. Because for me personally, if someone shows up 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late, things like that, is saying, hey, you don't value my time. You're also probably not disciplined, and you're also probably not going to follow through on other commitments that you have. Because showing up on time is one of the simple things that you can.
All right, he said a lot there. Let me go ahead and unpack this one. And again, I know he's talking about the school that he runs and the business that he has, but a couple things stood out to me. So I struggle because, we grew up in a time where your word meant something. When you agreed to do something, there's a term, your word is your bond, or a gentleman's agreement, or, they shook on it. You all may not know, but there are some big companies that still have like contracts in place that weren't written. It was just understood. So I know we're in the modern world. And so we are here for the young women that still want a traditional relationship in the modern world. So that means that your word has to count for something. And here's the problem, ladies. Nobody is asking you to be perfect, but just like he said, if you start to show chinks in the armor on this side, the men that we want are going to start looking for other flaws. That's why consistency is so important. Just like, we tell the boys, if you have one that's driving, or, if you have a vehicle and you get pulled over by a police officer, you need to keep your vehicle in good order, because you could get pulled over for something small. But if somebody wants to start looking, they're going to find all kind of other problems. This is why, ladies, it's not just that little white lie. Now you've put that little doubt in his head, like, I wonder what else she's telling me. Should I believe any of it at all? That's where I get to the point where I don't know if anything is true. And then that means it's not worth my time. And speaking of time, this is something, to me, this is just good common courtesy. But if you say you're going to do something, ladies, you should do it. We have to stop expecting people to understand. We have to stop expecting people to bend to our will. Of course, life happens. A little thing in the finishing school, Lucy and I expect our students to show up and be present. And if they're not, we ask them, let us know in advance. So people aren't distracted looking for you, wondering what's going on. And then you just stroll in late with your cappuccino because you just had other stuff to do. It's incredibly disrespectful. And if nobody has told you that, Auntie Maggie is telling you that the men that you want do not have time to waste. And they're not going to waste the time that they do not have on you. You are not that special. You are not that important. You are not that cute. Your body is not that perfect. I hear all the time, the men that we want, they'll tell you, do you know how many options we have? So when you have their attention and when you have the opportunity to make a good impression, do not waste that opportunity. There is no guarantee that you'll get a second one, and you probably won't. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. And if you know you can't do something, be honest. They appreciate the honesty. Don't try to fake and make it look like you're better than you are, or you have more money than you have, or you can be in multiple places at once. Just say, you know what, I wish I could, but I can't. And they will work with you if you're honest. What would you add, Lucy?
Yeah, that goes back to the consistency part, being just respecting for the man's time. I have seen so many women say, well, it's a date, it's okay that I'm late. No, the man is saying, how long is it taking? How did she plan this? Did she think that I was just another guy that she could be 20, 30 minutes late, and that didn't matter. Our man's times are very important. So time is money for them. So the more you show that you are willing to just modify your time according to your needs, he's saying, wait a minute. It seems like what matters is what's for her and not for me. So again, it goes back to being, your integrity, your accountability, respect for others, consistency, self-awareness. All of that is, part of this topic. And unfortunately, with the modern world, young ladies have not been, I guess they've been taught, but it hasn't been reinforced, the fact that you need to do what you say you're going to do. Otherwise, that word means nothing. And I think that we've lost respect of understanding that when you say something, you should do it, or just don't say it. Do not be thinking that I'm going to be nice and I'm not going to give a straight answer. Give a straight answer. If you can't make it to a place, you say, sorry, I can't make it. Or, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. I'm going to call you if I'm around the area to let you know, and do that. Whatever you say has to stay. Otherwise, it's not going to matter.
Such a good point. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Next Level is saying the money that they budget for the fun girls is called play money. So ladies, the men are concurring. Hello, Erin Laura is here. Hello, Jasla is here. Thank you all so much for coming through. And you all are agreeing. We have King James 313 who says, I literally judge women by how they speak and carry themselves when there's no pressure on them. I care more about how they speak on the phone to their closest friends than how well they can behave. And that's true, ladies. We are going to be tested. The men that we want are going to test us. And again, if you don't want a traditional relationship, if you don't want to get on anybody's program, if you want to just join the workforce and ride it out until you're 65, please be my guest. Nobody is going to fight you. But the men that we want, we are asking them to risk their legacy on us if you want marriage, okay? So a man is going to make sure that he's making a good investment, and that comes with standing the test of time. I see this often with women who sometimes think they're just going to show up and be selected. Doesn't matter how pretty you are. It doesn't matter how fit you are. That's great. That just gets you to the front of the line to take the test. But you're still going to take the test. You are not going to be exempt. And I will tell you, the men that I talk to will tell you, yeah, they'll go ahead and give some extra money just to see, do you just everything that glitters is gold. And then you don't know how to just, you know what? No, I think we're going to do something simple. You just can't get right after that. Right. Or when you are out and about, like King James said, if he takes you to a restaurant and you think you're above the staff person, I know someone who will dismiss a woman if she is rude to the help. Because, ladies, like I'm always telling you, the men that we want, they have an origin story. They are not trust fund kids. They had to build this with blood, sweat, and tears. So a lot of them remember working at McDonald's, working at Chick-fil-A, driving Uber, whatever they had to do to get there. Thank you so much, Suave D. Thank you so much for the support. So my point is this: when you think you're taking a dig at somebody who you think is not moving fast enough for you or didn't get your order perfectly right, you are reminding the man that you're with of how somebody talked to him when he was on the come up. Because you weren't there and you didn't see it, it must not exist. So I'm trying to give you all a little insight into how the men that we want behave. All right. So don't play these games. It's not going to help you. And if you know you've been deceptive about something, you need to own it. And you need to fall on your sword and allow him to make the decision if he wants to give you another try. But if you try to weasel your way out of it or explain, or even worse, get argumentative and defiant, it's over. And don't even ask. Do not even ask for a second chance. All right. Let's see what else y'all are saying in the chat. And then we're going to go through. Oh, we've got some questions here. Oh, King James says, who are you really? And what are your true intentions with me? It's so true, ladies, because the men that we want, they are looking for patterns of behavior. And so if we are difficult or deceptive or defiant in one area, they're thinking about not just this moment, not just this activity. This is who you are, or they're going to be looking for who are you really. And so that hot seat and that light is going to be shining on you so you can demonstrate who you are. And if you're not up for it, ladies, you're just not up for it. Not everybody is meant to be a wife. All right. Lucy and I talk about that in the wife lessons. Registration is open. You can go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. If you're interested, we start March 8th. But if you think that getting married is just getting dressed up and having a party and there's nothing you have to do, sorely mistaken. All right. Let's see if my struggle video will play. Let's go back in.
And another thing on the person that treats the servers or anybody that will not do it, they think that it's not going to do anything for them. The man is also looking at future relationship. What is this woman going to do with our children? The level of empathy, because remember, we are supposed to be those soft, delicate, nurturing women. So if you're able to treat somebody that has nothing to do with you like that, they're thinking, okay, wait a minute, there's something missing on the empathy factor on her. And do I want this woman having my children and possibly not having that empathy part for them?
Such a good point. I have some more thoughts, but let's go back in and see if we can listen. We're about halfway through the video.
Hey, Chandler Bolt here, and I want to talk to you about a core value we have.
Trustworthy. I don't know about this. It's wasting my time.
All those things. So you're losing points and you're potentially even losing the sale or losing the customer before you even get there. And that's really always stuck with me, because by showing up on time, we prove to each other and we prove to our customers that, hey, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And this is in the little things. Because for me personally, if someone shows up 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late, things like that, is saying, hey, you don't value my time. You're also probably not disciplined, and you're also probably not going to follow through on other commitments that you have. Because showing up on time is one of the simple things that you can do to honor your commitment. So we're showing that to our customers. We're showing that to others, is that, hey, we care, we respect you, we respect your time. We're going to follow through with our commitment. Now, speaking of following through with commitments, I've already mentioned that. That's honesty and integrity as well. So it's following through on your commitments, doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Now, here's the disclaimer. If you can't do that and you say, oh man, I can't hit this deadline, that's okay. But ahead of time, let people know and reset that commitment and reassign a date to it. So now you're still within honesty and integrity, because you're being upfront, you're being transparent. You're saying, hey, maybe I can't hit this, but I'm going to be honest and transparent about this thing. Now, there's a great book called The 4 Agreements. And one of the 4 agreements is to be impeccable with your word. And basically the concept is, when you're not impeccable with your word, and you break agreements with others, you start to send kind of these subconscious signals to yourself, and you say, hey, I'm not trustworthy, right? So we want to be impeccable with our word, and we will be impeccable with our word in everything that we do and in every interaction. So if we mess up, we're going to fix it. We're going to go out of our way to make sure that we're always honest and we always have integrity. Now, if you've ever tried to lose weight or go to the gym or any of those things, you say, I'm going to work out tomorrow. And then if you don't do it, I'm going to work out tomorrow. And you start to train your own mind that you are not trustworthy because you're not following through on the agreements with yourself. So keep the agreements with yourself, keep the agreements with your family, keep the agreements with our customers, keep the agreements with each other. And as you build that, it becomes a habit and people know what they can expect from you. It's consistent because you're honest and you have integrity in everything that you do. So there you have it. That's honesty and integrity always win. I'd love for you to comment below. What's one way that you've seen this play out, maybe in past jobs or here at self-publishing school? So have you seen honesty and integrity always win? Or maybe what's one example from your life that you've said, oh man, this was really painful, but I had to do it. And that was a way that I went out of my way to be honest and be in integrity. Scroll below this video.
All right, I wanted to go ahead and finish that so we can react to it. Let's see. All right. So he said a lot there. And one of the things that stood out to me, we have been harping on how our honesty and integrity impacts other people. But did you hear him when he said that our honesty and integrity impacts ourselves? And ladies, this is something that wherever you go, there you are. And if you think you're smart enough to be able to have these multiple personalities, um, it's going to start to seep out and you're going to do things and then kind of like, oh, I forgot. So you really have a decision to make. This is what we tell the ladies in the finishing school. Once you commit to personal development, nobody says you have to be perfect, but you have to decide who you want to be and act accordingly. And if it's for you, if you get a little thrill from playing games, like we say in the South, throwing a stone and hiding your hands. If you're the one who likes to come in the room and just kick up dust and watch everything, fall apart, then do that if you must, but just know that it will be at the cost of meaningful relationships because nobody is going to invest their time. Thank you so much, Sunkissed, for the support. 199. Thank you all for the blessings. Nobody is going to invest their time, especially not the men that are relationship minded or marriage minded. Like Lucy said, they have too much to risk. And yes, they're going to be looking at, okay, how is this going to play out if we have children one day? If my parents get older, if I have, other responsibilities. And I'll tell you something, ladies. I talked to mean old mister today. Here's the problem, one of them. The men that we want are established in their field. That's what attracts us to them. So they work with people who do report to them, who do what they say, especially if they're in a leadership position. So they are surrounded with people who respect them and don't play games. And so if you want to be the woman in the relationship who stands out for the wrong reasons, again, a glaring spotlight on you. So here's what he said, ladies. You're not just competing with other women. You're competing with other relationships that he remembers from the past, maybe one that got away. You're competing with, maybe he has a brother or a friend that's got a wonderful wife and they just see them interacting and he's like, wonder why my woman doesn't do that. So everywhere our men go, not just the other woman that you think looks better, they are watching the interaction of how other people act and treat them. So if you think you're going to be like, it doesn't matter, he'll get over it, you're going to be running out of time. And then I guess you could just be by yourself if that's what you want. That's fine. What would you add, Lucy?
Again, that goes back to understanding that following through on your word, whatever you say, you have to commit to it. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter. And we can apply this to, marriages and relationship commitments. All these women, I see it all the time. I just saw, a YouTube marriage, 16 years, they decided to divorce. And it's like, wow. So where did it fall apart? Because you're supposed to stay together no matter what. It is a covenant and it is a commitment, unless there's really domestic violence and, maybe a really, really bad drug addiction. There's just a few things that should cause divorce. Otherwise, you're there you have committed yourself when you said yes to that ring and when you went to the church and you said yes to God and those vows, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, till death do us part. So again, that's part of that commitment that maybe we've lost what it means to keep your word, to say, you know what, I committed to this no matter what, and I will stick through it. Because again, you learn from that. As a couple, young women are giving up so quickly on their relationships that they're willing to give up, a relationship of I'm thinking about marriage. Relationships, there are these situationships and things that they shouldn't get into it. But once you're in an established relationship, a marriage, you got to do everything possible to follow through until the end. And that's where we're losing it.
Such a good point. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. So we've got some questions. I'll see if I can do my best to answer them. And again, gentlemen that may be watching, if you care to share, if you have any examples of how women have tried to lie or run slick games by you that we can learn from, please share. We have Jasla saying, how would you know if you've been downgraded from wife to fun girl if a man doesn't explicitly say it? Okay, so I'm going by the exact words. You said wife. So I have two answers from you. First of all, men are not going to marry you until you have proven that consistency. So ladies, you won't even make it to wife. You'll take yourself out of serious candidate running if you're playing any of these kind of games, okay? So I mean, of course, a man could just say, you know what, like my man, I'm gonna help you mean what you say. And you can just figure it out when he, doesn't come home or serves you papers or ends the relationship. But one thing, ladies, men are very long suffering to their detriment and very patient. A lot of times on the front end of relationships, we women get very frustrated because what's taking them so long. We want to hurry up and get to the marriage. But men are vetting. They are taking their time. They're running us by their network. They are making a very calculated decision because they have too much to waste. If you don't like that, fine. You buy the ring. You go propose. You find a man to get on your program. Now, if this question means how do you know if you've been downgraded from wife candidate to fun girl, I have an answer. And yeah, shameless plug, Lucy and I have another class called Relationship Basics, where we talk in detail about how to know if you're dating with intention, what to look for, what not to look for. All of this is at teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. I'll show you the thumbnail for Relationship Basics, and you all can take that class. It's on demand self-study. All right, but this is one of the things that I'll tell you. Does a man talk about the future at all? Or is he like, let's just live for the moment. Let's just have fun. Let's keep it light. Why do we have to, let's not worry about the future. Let's just have fun tonight. Let's just have fun right now. That's an indicator, because the men that we want are always thinking about the future, always thinking about their next step, their legacy, what's going to happen. So if when he's with you, he's only talking about, let's just, let our hair down and have fun, and he's not really having any conversations about the future that includes you, that's a sign. Also, if he has a life that is completely separate from yours, which is his right, but if he's not trying to include you in anything, not that he has to run any decisions by you, believe me, I've been told, they're going to do what they're going to do with or without you. But if a man really cares for you, if he really sees a future with you, he will start to open up and share, not his feelings, but he'll start to open up and share a little bit of his plans. I'm thinking about this, or I'm, planning on this, or I'm, making moves for this reason. If he's very closed off to you and he's just kind of like, yeah, he just lets you talk. He just lets you have fun. I'll give you a third one for free. Ladies, if you have a man who doesn't correct you at all, if he doesn't give you any feedback, if everything you do is fine, whatever you want to wear is fine, however you want to talk out of pocket is fine. If you know you've been deceptive about something, if you know you're lying about something, and you know that he knows, and y'all are just kind of sitting there doing this thing and he's not asking you any tough questions, if he's not getting in there, he has no intentions for you. Short time, not a long time. So those are 3 ways, ladies. Hopefully it's helpful. You can determine if you're being taken seriously or if you're just a placeholder. What would you add, Lucy?
I absolutely agree. If he doesn't involve you with, things that are happening with his family, if he doesn't take you to his relatives, to family gatherings, and if he used to take you and you've already been put in the fun time, those gatherings with family are going to diminish. There's going to be, he doesn't need that part of his life to be shared with his loved ones.
So hopefully that was helpful. And thank you, King James 313 for the $4.99. He says, thank you for providing the information. That is our heart. Lucy and I, again, we speak from our lived experience as mature women because we definitely want the young women to win. Ladies, it's almost frightening once you get up in age and you see the turn that's happening with modern relationships. Everybody's just, I can do bad all by myself. We don't need each other. A few more generations down the line, it is not looking good. So the good news is you can stand out for the right reasons as long as you are authentic and consistent. All right. This is not a game. Let's go back and see what you all are saying in the comments, and then we will come back. I appreciate all of the engagement tonight. All right, so we talked about knowing who you really are. We talked about how you can tell if you've been demoted. Let's see what else. And King James concurs. So the men are sharing. They're giving a little bit of game. He says, by monitoring how he's communicating with you after certain interactions. Lucy's right. Ladies, if things get a little quiet, if the duration between interactions or phone calls or whatever seems to kind of cool off, if you feel like you're kind of an afterthought and not a priority, we will never be their number one priority. So get over yourself. All right. Their purpose is first. But if you feel like you had a certain place in his life and now you hear about stuff after the fact, as we say, that's a hint and a half. All right. Just another Mark says, we definitely watch how women treat others. A lot of information to pull from those studies. Ladies, we've talked about it on over and over again, how men observe. And this is just, I'll say it every stream until I can't say it anymore. We are not the same. We are not equal. We are equally valued, but we are very different. And when you study men, when you watch how they move, the way that men survive is by being on the defensive, on the lookout. Very different from women. The way that we have survived over all these centuries is by coming together. That's why girls are very communal and talking and everything, and men kind of retreat into their own space. So men have learned over centuries to observe and to look for those patterns to determine if this person is going to hurt me or going to help me. We talked about that in the finishing school today. So when you think that, oh, I'm just talking to this delivery person or whatever, that man is stepping back and he's gathering data points because he's watching for consistency. And if you are the type that says, oh, only around these men, when I see him, then I'll get it all shined up and I'll be on my best behavior. It's already too late, because who you are when nobody's watching is who you really are. And ladies, I'll say it again, the men are always watching. All right. So learn from that. They'll make their decisions and they probably won't tell you what they've decided. They'll leave you to figure it out cold. All right. Let's see what else you all are saying in the chat. Always happy to help. Thank you. Next level. King James says, if she's speaking badly about women within her friend circle, then why doesn't that friend know there's an issue? Very deceptive and untrustworthy for a mate in my eyes. How do you speak about me? Ladies, are you the gossip girl? Are you the one who is always starting stuff? Are you messy? Are you the one who's here for the foolishness? You get a little thrill about the little tidbits, the ratchetness. It kind of like, ooh, you want to lick your chops and yeah, I can't wait. Men are watching that because, to his point, King James is saying, if you really cared about this woman, if you really cared about this friend, BLJ, one of our founding fathers, I'm telling you, ladies, and he says, with the $50 heavy hands, we are always watching. So my point, what King James was saying there, ladies, is that if you really were someone who cared, then you would go to that friend and say, hey, I'm concerned about you. I've noticed X, Y, and Z. Now, when you said something and you were upfront and honest, if they blow you off or if they don't, listen to you, that's fine. Then you move accordingly. And maybe you distance yourself. But to go over there and pretend like, oh, yeah, we're besties and we're friendsies. And then when you're with him, all you do is rip them to shreds. He is right to think, what does she say about me? Is she going to defend my honor? Or as soon as I'm not in the room, oh, I can't stand him. I hate the way he breathes. I hate the way he eats. Oh my God, look at that shirt. Who wears that? Is that the type of wife you're going to be? Is that the type of wife that he wants? What would you add, Lucy?
So on point. And you talked about us women being communal and always wanting to talk and discuss things. And that's where also the men are watching the kind of friends that we have. Because again, birds of a feather, you just have to be very careful about the friendships, girl friendships that you have, because they are the ones that either are going to make that potential husband approach you, or he's going to say, nah, yeah, she looks like she's the quiet one, but she's among those chaotic ones, then I'd rather just not even touch it. So again, just be very selective about the type of friendships that you have. I mean, Maggie and I think that we can count, in less than one hand, yeah, me too. We're our best friends. We don't have anybody else. I mean, we have acquaintances and friends at work that we just talk about work. But when it comes to very intimate relationships, you should be very selective, because you never know that person that you're going to be sharing confidentialities with. That person's going to probably be sharing that information with others, and you don't want that. You got to protect your reputation, and you just, you got to protect your relationship also.
Such a good point. Let's see what else you all are saying in the chat. Absolutely. Technology struggles. Y'all, I'm telling you. But welcome to the struggle stream. Thank you for hanging in here. we do our best. Just another Mark says, self-accountability is a great way to begin developing higher levels of honesty and integrity. It causes you to hold yourself to a higher standard of living. I love that. And ladies, for me, the key word on that one is self-accountability. I got some feedback from my man that was really, really encouraging. He said, one of the good things about you, Maggie, is that you will assess yourself and self-correct, which means I don't wait to be told. I know what my flaws are, and I'll be honest about that. I'm doing a lot. All right, let me bring it down 1,000. Men do pick up on that. Do you have a self-awareness? We talk about this in the finishing school, all right? So don't just be walking through life like, well, nobody said anything, so I guess I got away with it. Nobody's asked me to be nurturing, so I guess I'll just be like another dude. Is that who you want to be? If so, then you're going to have to do those things until it becomes natural. All right, ladies, your decision. You don't have to do anything, but we want to let you know what the men are thinking, if that's important to you. All right. So again, thank you, Sunkissed. Curtis says, amen. Deep conversation and much needed. Thank you, ladies. I'm glad that it's helpful. King James says, yes, yes, yes. My family should stand on high integrity first and foremost before anything. Yeah. Ladies, men realize that words mean something. Words cause action and words have consequences. So men don't play with words. A lot of ladies think men, because they don't talk as much as we do, they don't have a lot to say. That's not it at all. They are choosing what they want to say. All right. King James says, give me the best 6 over a compromised 10. Yeah, this is true. A lot of women, unfortunately, put all their effort into the exterior. And yes, you want to look nice. But if on the inside, you are wretched, you are damaged, you are deceptive, you are deceitful, you are a liar. And I'm going to say this, and I don't think I've ever said this before, because I always say, doesn't make you a bad person. If you don't want a, relationship, you can go do that. That does make you a bad person. If you are not a woman of honor, that does make you a bad person. And karma will come for all of us. So don't believe me. Wait and see what happens. As they say in the South, keep on living. Erin Laura is agreeing. Thank you all so much. All right, let's see what else, and then we'll wrap it up. Erin Laura says, this is great information to know. Thank you. Rebecca says, yeah, be around for a short time, not a long time. Yes, ladies, the men have a budget and an expiration date. And the sad thing, and I don't delight in saying it, but I hate it when women think they're making progress and you were counted out a long time ago. but you were too, as one of our sponsors says, willfully obtuse to read the room and realize this isn't going anywhere. All right. James says Maggie did MVP, too kind. Great points. I'm glad it's helpful, Jasla. Wonderful. Okay. Erin Laura is agreeing. Erin Laura says, right, distance between communication is a good indicator he's losing or lost interest. A man will make effort for a woman he deems worthy. My man just said that. And ladies, I want to say this very carefully, especially for women who get confused and thinking that a man is supposed to spend all of his free time with you. This is not that. This is not we lay around all day and do nothing but look into his googly eyes. The men that we want are very busy, but here's the difference. Is he trying to make time for you? Is he telling you, hey, babe, I'm back to back, but, go ahead and block out this weekend? Or, I'm going to be, traveling for work, but when I get back in town, we're going to do this, or I'll see you tonight. Is he prioritizing you in the way that works for him? All right. So don't let people tell you if he's not talking to you for hours on the phone and doing all this foolishness, he doesn't love you. It's not that. Remember, his purpose comes first. But if you are in the running, he will prioritize you and he will include you when he can. What would you add, Lucy?
In fact, if he spends too much time doing things with you, how is his business suffering? Again, these men have a business mostly to run or to be accountable to. Again, I think I said it the last time. The job is probably going to be like the second wife that they've got, or the first wife, and we're going to be, on the side for when they have time. And you know what? If you want the life that he's giving you, that's how it's going to be. That's where you have to accept that the man is going to be using a lot of his hours, a lot of his time to bring you that freedom at home, that beautiful home that he's going to provide you with. Again, it's so funny how there are women that get divorced because the man didn't spend enough time with them. And when I watch movies with my husband, I'm here going, does she realize that the life that he's giving her, it's because he's spending time doing what he's got to do to give her this life? And he just shakes his head because, he's like, he's already seen it. And if to him, it's like, it's just silly, it's a movie, whatever. But again, just, men's time is really important to them. When he's giving you his time, cherish it, because it's not going to be every day, every time. It's not going to be that Hallmark movie that you see, or that telenovela, or that whatever, that Prince Charming that's going to be there forever. In fact, the more time he spends with you, the less time he's spending making the life that he's giving to you.
That's such a good point. Oh my goodness, I love it. All right, you all are saying hello. Let's see what else, and then we will wrap this up. Live, Love, Plan, and Pray says, this is why I always struggle to be friends with women. We talk about this in the finishing school, and I love good, supportive women. But ladies, our nature is chaotic. Argue me down if you want to. And again, your single friends aren't going to be able to help you maintain the relationship. We women are selfish by nature, so we want all eyes on us. Being a wife is serving and selfless. So they're going to put that thing in your ear that he needs to be doing for you. That's not how you win, ladies. All right. We got BLJ saying, hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having an excellent weekend. Make smart choices and remember your actions have consequences. Spoken from one of our founding fathers. Jasla is laughing. Live, Love, Plan, and Pray says, women, regardless of what is going on between you and that man, of course, within reason, it stays between you two. Something my man always appreciated. We could end on this one, ladies. You have to maintain his privacy. You have to. You just have to. I don't know what else to say. You have to. All right. Erin Laura says, yeah, one best friend. And you notice as you get older, we love people and we love being social, but the inner circle, small circle of trust. All right. The Beautiful Lie says, masculine men always have a plan for feminine women. We are very intentional and inclusive with young ladies. We don't slot as recreational use only. Hashtag keep cooking, Mags. Thank you. King James says, we don't expect perfection, just forethought. I have friends of all types, and my woman would only know the friendships that truly matter to me. I expect the same from her. All right. Duran says, if what the men are thinking is not important to you, just stay single. And to me, it's fascinating. Lucy and I are here to be the older women to teach the young. I always say, if your mother did not teach you how to be a good woman to a good man, maybe you can learn something. But I'm fascinated and so grateful for the men that are here. So ladies, look at the spaces that you like to go have fun in. Do the men that you have or the men that you want also look highly on those spaces? That'll tell you a lot. Curtis says, unfortunately, women slight towards negativity and complaining against their mates. It's something women truly have to fight against and decide to be growth-minded, helpful, and not hurtful. Unfortunately, ladies, it's true. And I hate to say, I've seen women my age that when you talk to them, nothing about them seems mature. It is a decision, right? Yes, intentional time spent. It's eye-opening how much the opposite is what is programmed and taught to women from young. I hear it, ladies. A man is supposed to prioritize you, not the man that you want. The man that has time to be laid up under you all day, believe me, is not the man that you want. Go try for yourself. You'll see. King James says, I had the same friend since 2009 and no kids. She now has 3 kids and frustrated with the fact that I don't pursue more with her. She doesn't understand why I don't take the bait. She made her life. Just another mark. Maggie touched on a very important point I haven't spoken of here yet. The notion of a woman not being the first priority in the marriage. Absolutely. I've had to sit a few women down to explain why this is. Yes. All right. So we've had a lot today. I'll just end on this. Yes, ladies, it's true. The reason why, if you need to know why, men know that the buck stops with them. If you're very honest with yourself, when it all falls apart, we're looking at our husbands to save the day, to have a plan, to fix it, to do something. So because of that, men have to make sure that they are Boy Scout prepared for every outcome. Because the last thing you want is to ask your man, what are we going to do? And he says, I don't know. What are you going to do? All right. So that is why, ladies, we have to be a support system. If you want a traditional relationship, we have to be a support system to help them go out and conquer and slay and do all of the things that's going to benefit us as well. So if a man is putting you ahead of everything else, the other stuff is not getting done. And the other stuff is what really matters. All right. Lucy, what would you say to close this out?
Again, we have to continue developing our best skills to keep our integrity and honesty. And that comes with accountability, respect for others, transparency, empathy, reliability, confidentiality, self-respect, consistency, and self-awareness.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm glad you all enjoyed it. Thank you, Curtis. Yes, and King James, I love that. Men actually want women to win. This is probably one of the heartbreaking things. How many women say they don't need men, but men are not saying the same thing. Men still want women. They still need women, and they want good women. So ladies, it's up to us to decide what kind of women we want to be. Your choice, and every choice has consequences. So all right, so this was a tough one, but I think it needed to be said. So ladies, ask yourself, study yourself, and assess yourself. If you've been skating on the lines, if you've been coloring outside of the lines, a little white lie here, a little deception here, a little, mismanagement of money over here, go ahead and nip it in the bud, all right? It'll help you, even if you have to slow down to speed up. So Lucy and I are with you all twice a week, usually on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So I think we'll be back. Happy February, everybody. Can you believe we're already in month 2? So we will be back this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern with another video. We've given you our announcements of classes that are coming, but I also want to make sure you all are reminded about the MaggieLu Meetup. Once a year, we have our graduation and reunion for our students. That's going to be here in Atlanta at Eclipse di Luna. Tickets are $50. You can go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. It's just a happy hour, but all are welcome. And then the ladies and I will go have our graduation weekend. But Lucy's put together a wonderful menu for us. It's going to be unlimited beer, wine, sangria, tapas, really good food. And you can meet us and you can meet our students and just eat, drink, and be merry. It will be Friday, April 4th. From 4 to 6 p.m. So just a couple of hours. If you're in Atlanta or want to come to Atlanta, we would love to meet you. We only do it once a year. All right, everybody. So I think that's everything. Yes, thank you all so much. I'm glad you all enjoyed this. So until then, we will say, oh, let me thank our sponsors. Got to thank our sponsors. Next Level, thank you for the $10. Suave D, thank you for the $10. Sunkissed, thank you for the $1.99. King James, thank you for the $4.99. Our stream sponsor for the night, one of our founding fathers, none other than BLJ. If y'all would put BLJ in the chat on your way out, we appreciate you all so much. So we will say adios.
Adios.
Bye, everyone.